Good morning. If you're a dreamer, come in. If you're a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire. For we have some flood golden tales to spin. Come in, and welcome to the garden.
Mystery tour. Roll out for the mystery tour. I got an invitation. Roll out for the mystery tour. Roll out to make a reservation. Roll out for the mystery tour. The magical mystery tour is waiting to take you away. Waiting to take you away. Mystery tour. Roll out for the mystery tour. They got everything you need. Roll out for the mystery tour. Satisfaction guaranteed. Roll out for the mystery tour. The magical mystery tour is waiting to take you away. Hoping to take you away. Mystery tour. Roll out for the mystery tour. Roll out. I got an invitation. Roll out for the mystery tour. Roll out to make a reservation. Roll out for the mystery tour. The mystery tour is waiting to take you away. Coming to take you away. The magical mystery tour is dying to take you away. Dying to take you away. Take you today.
Michael Reed.
The Bridge by Shel Silverstein. This bridge will take you only halfway there to those mysterious lands that you long to see, through gypsy camps and swirling Arab fairs and moonlit woods where unicorns run free. So come and walk a while with me and share the twisting trails and wondrous worlds I've known. But this bridge will only take you halfway there. The last few steps you must take alone. Good morning, we're so glad you're here. And welcome to our magical mystery tour. And as we continue looking at children's literature and how those stories feed our imagination and oftentimes feed our faith. Today I want to just remind folks that the Conversations with Carolyn in room 216 following service. We'd be glad for you to join us there. And I want to encourage you to open up your bulletin, take a quick look through at the calendar and the different things that you can engage in and the different ways you can be involved. And then I want you to do me a favor. I want you to close it and plan on taking it home with you. And then I want you to turn it over. On the back of your bulletin is an opportunity for you to participate in this service, to open up your imagination and see what God has in store. There's a guy named Jim Davies who's written a book called Imagination. And in there, he helps us identify the fact that our imagination is made up of past experiences, not only our past experiences, but these images that we create in our minds as well. For example, I'm going to invite you all right now to think about a garden. Now, that's employing your imagination. And how you employ your imagination is different than how I employ my imagination. Perhaps for you today, that garden is like a garden that we have outside that has lots of vegetables in it and that kind of thing. If my British husband were here, the garden would be just the yard. They call the yard the garden. Go figure. For you, perhaps this morning, it was this place called the garden. That's employing your imagination, because the truth of it is that though you create that in your mind, none of it is absolutely for sure fact and real. And for me, at least, that's where life lives, in the space of imagination. Now, something happens, Davies notes, that as we get older, we tend to engage with our imagination less. We trade in our imagination for this thing called facts. As we grow and learn, we find some success in like mathematics and science. And somehow that takes more precedence in our lives than imagination for many of us. But today, I want to encourage you to open up to the power of imagination, to forget that the older you got, the more you thought about fact, and the less you employed your imagination. Today, I want you to do me a favor and open up your imagination in a new and different way. For example, if your family were heading to Disney tomorrow, if you, like me, at this age, were thinking about it, you would most likely think about things like lines and heat and how we're going to get there and how many people are going to be on the plane, and as Mike Ransom reminds us, how much money we're going to spend. I can guarantee you that a child doesn't think that at all when they go to Disney. They think about the magical world they're getting ready to enter into. They're thinking about the magical mystery tour that they're getting ready to take. So today, I want to invite you to step into a child's mind and to step in and use your imagination. Today, we're going to look at two different authors. The first, Shel Silverstein, will come back again later. And the second is a guy named Peter Reynolds, who you'll hear in just a moment. In your bulletin, there's a text where Jesus reminds us that if we really want to see God, so for me, the kingdom of heaven is encountering God. If we really want to encounter God, we must become like children. We must have a willingness not to have all the answers. So today, with that in mind, and with your blank space on the back of your bulletin, I want to encourage you to pause for a moment and consider a story that has been inspired by Peter Reynolds' experience as being an art teacher. He took that experience and he used his imagination. And well, Dave brought this book to our attention, so he's going to read it to us. And it won't be on the screen. So he'll hold it. If you're a little person and you want to come up and see the pictures, you're more than welcome to. If you're a big person and want to come up and see the pictures.
Yes, you'll have to use your imagination for the illustrations. No, we did not do that on purpose. Okay, The Dot by Peter Reynolds. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm, she said. Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw. Well, her teacher smiled and said, just make a mark and see where it takes you. Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. There. Her teacher picked up the paper, studied it carefully, said, She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, now sign it. Vashti thought for a moment, well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. The next week, when Vashti walked into the art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging over her teacher's desk. It was her little dot she had drawn, her dot, all framed in a swirly gold frame. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with yellow. She discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush and got bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. Now, you can imagine how that is, right? There's a big sheet of paper, and you put dots all around the outside of the paper and in the corners, and in the middle is a big white dot. Very good. Very good. All right, at the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite the splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "Wow, you're really a great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. He said, "Me? No, not me. I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy took the pencil, and his hand shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it."
How many of you think that you cannot draw? Do me a favor, let's put a dot on the paper and sign your name. It seems to me that Vashti and this young man needed to be reminded what Paul shares in his letter to the Philippians. Paul says, essentially, God began a good work in you, and God is faithful to complete it. So often we're the ones who decide we cannot do something, but it is God who says, wait a minute. I can do all kinds of things through you, and I am faithful to complete it. God, in Jeremiah, we read, God says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. As we center ourselves today, let's be mindful that God began a great work in you. You grew up and you forgot. So at this time, take this time during centering and be mindful. What is it that God is seeking to create through the likes of you and me? We're really glad you're here.
Happy Sunday, gardeners. Please
Happy
join
Sunday.
me in the universal words of welcome. Shalom.
Shalom.
Salam.
Salam.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Peace. I'm jealous of you. moving a lot better than I am. Children, huh? You're doing great. I'm here, though. Children are our future. With their imagination to drive, they'll be the ones who create the new tools that we will use going forward in the 21st century. I am 64 years old, and to think of the things I've seen in my lifetime: computers, smartphones, the internet, man walking on the moon, medical miracles, to name a few. Just imagine what we'll see in the next 64 years. Our children will be the driving force behind those changes. I pray that God will guide us, all of us, whether we are parents, teachers, or people like myself who interact with children on less than a daily basis. Let us follow Jesus' example and envelop the children with love. Let us pray. Lord, I pray for the children. I pray that you will shower them with your love and protection. Give us the wisdom and guidance to raise them to be your loving servants. I pray for the sick and injured, especially David Bradley's rehabilitation and Judy Conley's recovery. I pray for Dave Meyer's family and friends during this time of sorrow. I pray for the victims of the Maui fires as you will help them during this crisis. Please give us all the wisdom and courage during these trying times to be what you want us to be as your children. In Jesus' name, amen. Huh? Yeah.
By the way, I hear through the grapevine that Spain won the World Cup. Those girls used their imagination. So, offering started, right? Thousands of years ago. And you used to bring like a bird, if that's what you could afford, or you brought a goat or a lamb to be sacrificed to God. As Christians, we then say Jesus came so that he could then be sacrificed for us and we could live without sin. For those of you who know me, you know I really struggle with that. I really struggle with the fact that a sacrifice had to be given for me and my bad behavior. And I'll probably struggle with that the rest of my life. But today, I'm going to share a story of sacrificial giving that reminds me, really, how Jesus functions in this world. And it's called The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. It's to help us prepare for our offering today. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often lonely. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come climb upon my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "Oh, I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things. I want to have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a very long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, come climb on my trunk and swing on my branches and be happy." I am too busy to climb trees, said the boy. I want a house to keep me warm, he said. I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house. But you can cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy. And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a very long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy that she could barely speak. Come, boy, she whispered, come and play. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a very long time, the boy came back again. I am sorry, boy, said the tree, but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples, said the boy. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. I am too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. Oh, I'm too tired to climb, said the boy. I'm sorry, sighed the tree. I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry. I don't need much of anything now, said the boy, just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest. And the boy did, and the tree was happy. For me, it reminds me of the power of sacrifice and the power of loving sacrifice. Keep that in mind today as we pass the offering basket, as we pass the harvest basket. And be mindful of all those people who have sacrificed for you in love, and give God thanks for them.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of your imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. Come with me and we'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. You want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. You want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
That makes me want to have grandkids in this country that Dave could sing that song to. What beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. So today we've looked a little bit at a few different things, and believe it or not, through imagination we can experience the love of God. We were reminded that God has started something profound in you, and it's our job to continue to stay in touch with that spark or that energy and to keep moving forth in it. It's important to remember that God's plans for us are much greater than anything we can envision. It's important to remember that sacrifice is most often based in love that transforms the world. Today I'm going to finish this message, and I'm going to get some help from some friends here with some poetry by a guy named Shel Silverstein. Now, Shel Silverstein had quite a career. He was an author, an illustrator, and a musician, and a songwriter. Get this, he wrote A Girl Named Sue, how about that? It Gets Better, and Cover of the Rolling Stones. He also was the illustrator for a magazine that a few of these guys know up here, and they talked about it a little bit ago. I'll let you ask them. Maybe it was Playboy, but in any case, he was an illustrator for he's an illustrator as well. He also served in the Korean War, just like your dad Willis, Gene. He served in the Korean War, and perhaps there's part of me that wonders as I grow older that it was there that he started thinking about how silly we are as humans, going to war with one another, not learning about one another. I believe that poetry and illustration was Shel Silverstein's way of connecting and understanding God. So here in this last message, the three of us will share poems about the human spirit by Shel Silverstein. The first is called Actions. If we meet and I say hi, that's a salutation. If you ask me how I feel, that's a consideration. If we stop and talk a while, that's a conversation. If we understand each other, that's communication. If we argue, scream, and fight, that's an altercation. If we apologize, that's a reconciliation. If we help each other home, that's cooperation. And all these actions added up make civilization. And if I say this is a wonderful poem, is that an exaggeration?
How many, how much? How many slams in an old screen door? Depends on how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends on how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give 'em.
Light. Small as a peanut, big as a giant. We're all the same size when we turn off the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite. We're all worth the same when we turn out the light. Red, black, or orange, yellow, or white. We all look the same when we turn out the light. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light.
God says to me with a kind smile, hey, how would you like to be God for a while and steer the world? Okay, I say, I'll give it a try. Where do I set? How much do I get? What time is lunch? When can I quit? Give me back that wheel, says God. I don't think you're quite ready yet.
All the colors. My skin is kind of sort of brownish, pinkish, yellowish, white. My eyes are grayish, bluish, green, but I'm told they look orange in the night. My hair is reddish, blondish, brown, but it's silver when it's wet, and all the colors I am inside have not been invented yet.
The folks inside. Inside you, boy, there is an old man sleeping, dreaming, waiting for his chance. Inside you, girl, there's an old lady dozing, wanting to show you a slower dance. So keep on playing, keep on running, keep on jumping, till that day those old folks down inside you wake up and come out to play.
Where the sidewalk ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind.
Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow.
We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends.
Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends.
Imagination to think a good reason to keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
Got to make the best of bad situation. Ever since that day I woke up, found that you were gone. Darkness all around me, blocking out the sun. Old friend, call me, and I don't even feel like talking to anyone. Emptiness has found me, and it just won't let me go. I go right on living, but why? I just don't know.
Too strong, got to keep on keeping on.
Yes, I am.
You're too
Betty, thank you. You know, I really think Jesus would enjoy this service. Maybe, because we're encouraged to, again, capture that spirit that God put in us long ago that many of us grew out of. So today, with that in mind, I invite you to go forth and let your imagination take the lead. Thank you for joining us today on this imagination adventure. We weren't sure how it was going to go, and sure enough, everybody worked really hard on some slides that aren't there, which created us an opportunity to use our imagination. So remember, Jesus calls us to be like children, and in doing so, we will encounter God. So now go forth and draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble-jumble song, whistle through your comb, do a loony-goony dance, cross the kitchen floor, put something silly in this world that ain't never been there before. Go now in peace, and may the love of our God be yours today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Amen.